Hello once again, and we welcome you to One-on-One with head coach Rick Wedlow. We're going to talk about Anderson coming up on Thursday, and believe it or not, the NCC tournament right around the corner, and we're about a month away from the sectional tournament as well. So this high school basketball season now beginning to wind down. And Rick, you're on a 3-game winning streak right now, and it's great to talk about the way your team is starting to really play. And you said this in our previous 2 broadcasts during the pregame that the guys are starting now to really buy in a lot more. They're playing defense certainly the way you expect them to play, and it just feels good to have that 3-game winning streak under your belt.
Absolutely, and I'm very proud of our kids. They're totally buying into our system, and we've gotten so much better defensively and from an individual perspective, and our team defense has gotten a lot better. We're rebounding the basketball pretty well, and we're getting a few offensive rebounds too. I think probably the most critical element to everything has been we've made key free throws down the stretch, and that's been very important for our ball club. As a team, we're still shooting about 65%. I think Friday's percentage may help that to go up a little bit, but we'd like to shoot about 70% as a ball club.
Sure.
And as we strive to get towards that, I think things will get better. Our point guard play has been really good the last couple weeks. Christian Harvey had an outstanding game Friday night. I mean, he pretty much controlled the tempo very well the first half. He's starting to do a better job of recognizing defenses quicker as teams try to mix it up on us from their man to their 2-3 to their 1-3-1, and just proud of the fact that he's continuing to work hard and becoming a better vocal leader.
Right.
Obviously, our senior leadership is from Brendan, and Adrian has gotten a lot better, but I think Christian is starting to blossom into a really good young player.
He'd only played well, and he's played well, speaking of Christian, the last several ball games. And I got to thinking in the back of my mind that when we were talking to him after the game the other night, this kid's going to be pretty special, I think. If he continues to grow and develop the way I think he will in your system, he's going to be pretty good when he becomes a senior.
Absolutely. I mean, he hasn't backed down to any of the best guards that we've faced. I mean, he competed against C.J. Walker. He competed against Tim Level and VJ at Marion. He competed against Robert Fennessy from McCutcheon, and he's seen some of the better guards, Division I caliber guards in the state as a sophomore, and he hasn't backed down. I think it was the Tech game, which gave me confidence about where he was as a player mentally. When we held CJ to 14, 15 points, and he did a good job guarding CJ, but obviously that was a good team defensive effort, but he didn't back down, and so he has a little different swagger about himself, something that you can't teach, and it as a young player, he still needs to mature because to some it may come off the wrong way, but you and I know if you want to be a special player, you have to have a different tick to the way you carry yourself, and it's got to be some swagger. It has to be some confidence, and as he becomes a better leader in terms of picking up his other teammates and helping them get through some adversity and tough times, I'm really looking forward to coaching Christian and the rest of our young players in the future. I mean, I think Trey Griffin, he went through a little stretch there where he wasn't shooting the ball very well, and it kind of carried over to his defensive and the rest of his floor game. But it was nice to see him accept coming off the bench Friday, and he made some key three-pointers and made some key plays and had some greater effort on the defensive end. So we're getting there. It's nice to win a few ball games, especially at home. We need to do a better job in the future of taking care of home. And then on the road, we just got to find a way to get some wins out there as well. But as a home court advantage, we have one of the nicest facilities in the country. I mean, every coach that I've talked to this year, they just really give us great feedback, and they really enjoy playing in our facility. And so, as a growing young team, we want to appreciate what we have. I mean, it's a great place to shoot. The lighting is great. The backdrop is perfect. And, it's a great floor to play on. And so, sometimes we take things for granted.
Yeah.
We have this is one of the best athletic facilities in the state. I mean, with our football facility, McBride is still a great facility to play baseball. Our soccer team gets to use the football field for soccer.
Yeah.
And, of course, Tiernan, we're still, able to hold 8,000 people in here on a packed day. Be nice to get back to that. I know it'll be tough due to the decline and our population in our town. But it'd be nice if we can get back to winning more home games and getting better crowds and having crowds that support our kids.
The other day I was speaking with another coach who talked about taking over a program, and it's hard for fans. It's hard for a lot of people to say, well, it's a process that may take a little bit of time. High school goes through these cycles where a group may not be as good for 2 or 3 years, and then all of a sudden it's good again. Richmond's no different. I haven't seen anybody in 26 years I've been in Indiana where they've stayed up here all the time. It just doesn't happen that way.
Right.
What do you tell people about just be patient? It's going to take time for me to develop this entire program, and it's true. It takes 2 to 5 years sometimes to get it done.
Absolutely. And, we had a good run there. There's a lot of tradition in Richmond basketball history. Fortunately, I was able to be a part of a great staff over the last 5 years, last 6 years, and we were able to put good players in good spots. It starts with having players.
Yeah,
got to have players that are developed physically and mentally, and we're at a part of the cycle where we have to kind of start over again. Yeah. And, sure, we have some seniors, but we have seniors that hadn't played as much at the varsity level. The guys that we're playing with now are JV players on a good JV team, but the speed of the game, the physicality of the game, the possessions are shortened and they're more valuable. And so there's been a great adjustment, but we're doing things the right way. I'm proud of the fact that we had 178 kids sign up for our youth basketball program, 2nd grade through 6th. This week and next week we'll have our tournaments for our 3rd and 4th grade city championship, or at least the semifinals, and then next week we'll finish up the season. And so this Wednesday we'll have games here at the Tiernan Center, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. Next Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll have the kind of like our Final Four, and then Wednesday we'll have our championship. So it's been a 7-day-a-week journey as the head basketball coach. We've had a great we partner with the Dirt Road Basketball League with all the county programs with Mark Detweiler, Kerry Brown, Bobby Jones, and all the other great coaches in the area. Our kids have been able to play at Knightstown, the Hoosiers Gym, and they've been able to go play at Spartan Bowl, Hagerstown, Union County, and all those surrounding communities and county teams have been able to come enjoy our great facility. And so our 4th grade team won their championship. Our 3rd grade team finished strong, made it to the championship or close. Our fifth grade group, they were in the semifinals. 6th grade, we're in the semifinals. And so we're right there. Our young guys our feeder system is in place. So I'm very proud of that. Yesterday was our last Sunday league where we had a girls program, help out with the girls. Our 3rd and 4th grade team won their B division championship. And so my goal is for Richmond to become a basketball town that it always has, and it takes time.
Yeah.
But as we continue to get support from our community and our business owners and our parents, we're going to get this thing back. The Lord put me in this position for a reason, and it wasn't supposed to be easy.
Yeah.
If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
That's right.
And it'd be guys that's been around here that would be in this position. And so I knew it was going to be tough. It was challenging mentally, but spiritually I was always strong. I have a good family. My wife has been very supportive, and I get away to go and watch my son He had a very good season at the 8th grade level. He plays with one of the top AAU programs. The AAU team that I've coached, we're rated number 2 in the state, and won a couple national championships. Finished runner-up in the AAU championship as 6th graders. And so I'm a basketball junkie. I love the game. Winning is in my DNA and a part of, what I do. And eventually we'll get this thing back to where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And, it's the growing pains that make you stronger. It makes you better as a coach. It makes you study film longer. It makes you subscribe to more newsletters from Coach K and Coach Mack and Matt Painter and Coach Crean and some of the best coaches around the country. And it makes you ask questions to veteran coaches that have been doing this for a long time. And it makes you grow, and it helps you grow. And so I've learned a lot this season. I think our staff has learned a lot, and we have a great staff. Jeff Williams has been, a great mentor-type coach for me in terms of he's been doing this so long. Mm-hmm. And he's threw out things for me, but he's also let me grow and use my own mind and ideas as well. And, we have a great it was a blessing, Caleb Snyder. We were in a pinch where we needed a drafting teacher. Caleb came aboard as a drafting teacher. I kind of let him get his feet under him as a drafting teacher, and then through some conversations, I knew that he had a good basketball mind, but he had another skill set for organization and itineraries. And so he's kind of developed himself into the type of guy that Mark Kinke was for us the last 6 years, where he's kind of our director of operations.
Yeah.
Every good staff, every good program needs a guy behind the scenes that kind of helps, with travel itineraries, helps with scouting reports, or at least help put them together.
Yeah.
And he's been very good to work. He's been instrumental in our youth league programs, and it's just been a blessing to have him. Brad Wright is doing his thing at the JV level. Tyler Etherington has done a fine job with our freshman group. And so it takes a staff to really help us turn it around like we've been doing over the last few weeks. Yet we still have a lot ahead of us, but it's nice to go through those experiences where you have a 3-game winning streak, where you can understand how important the defensive mentality is, and individually, team-oriented, rebounding, and then we've learned to play better with leads. And we've had some games where we've had to lead and let them get away.
Yeah.
I mean, we were up 4 or 5 on a good Dunbar team, state-ranked team, just before the Weddick. We had 5-7-point lead versus Connersville. Didn't know how to win at that time.
Yeah.
At Newcastle, we were there, but not quite over that hump where we learned we didn't know how to win.
Yeah.
We started understanding how to play the game. But winning at the varsity basketball level, 4A, is the best level you can get to. It's tough. It's hard, and our guys need to go through those moments of not having those success, playing their hearts out and coming up short, and developing a sincere hatred of losing.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest staples that I want this program to have, is you got to have a sincere hatred of losing, because you don't like that taste. I don't like this taste that we've had this year. And, I'm a very competitive person, and I've always been a winner. And so this has been a humbling experience for me. But our kids have rallied around themselves. Our program has rallied around each other. And, we've taken some steps that we need to continue to build upon.
Yeah.
And those things that we need to build upon is better practice habits. Not going half speed in drills.
Yeah.
If you're doing shooting drills, go game speed. When we're doing a 5-man weave, 3-on-2 back, make good decisions on the transition back.
Yeah.
Stop the ball where you need to stop the ball. Have good closeouts on shooters. Understand personnel. If they're a shooter, close out. If they're a driver, have a little bit more. Give them a little bit more space.
Yeah.
And it's just understanding the game of basketball and taking it to another level where our kids are starting to get the understanding in terms of recognizing defenses, understanding when I don't call a set, how to have proper spacing and just play and make good decisions. Or when we call a set, understanding that the set is not for the play to run perfect, but it is to put you in a position to make plays. And our guys are starting to make plays and better decisions, and it's all about growth. And so we're going to continue to work hard and practice. We're still going to have to do a better job of defending the three-pointer. I thought that was the key to our game Friday night, is we defended the three very well.
You bet.
I mean, they had 3 guys shooting over 40%, 1 guy shooting 50%.
Yeah.
And we held a good Harrison ball club to 38 points.
Yeah.
And that's what I was most proud of our defensive effort. And we're taking care of the ball a little bit better. We're winning a turnover margin, and we're rebounding. We're holding teams to 1 shot.
Yeah.
And if you can hold teams to 1 shot and play tough defensively and just grind out some solid offensive possessions, you always have a chance to win no matter who you're playing.
Yeah.
And so, I still have so much to learn, and we got a lot of work to do. But every day we're getting better and better because we just want to be better today than we were yesterday.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of that game, you held Harrison to 38. They were averaging over 60 points per game, so you held them almost half of what they normally score. The other thing is, you mentioned, we're going to hear what Trey Griffin had to say after the game here in just a couple of moments, is that he stepped up in the second half. Christian was good for you, great, in fact, the entire ball game, but he gave you that first half lift.
Sure.
And when you needed a lift offensively in the second half, it was Trey. And I think that, I don't know if he likes coming off the bench or not, but that certainly helps you to know that he can come off the bench and hit some big shots for you.
Yeah, well, I thought that, like again, I said earlier, we moved Trey in the starting lineup. He shot the ball pretty well early, but he got in a little funk there and lost some rhythm and start pressing and start aiming.
Yeah.
And he wasn't shooting the ball, and he was shooting the shots to just take them, but he wasn't shooting them to make them.
Yeah.
And shooting is a mentality that you have to have as a shooter.
Yeah. And
you have to shoot the ball. You can't aim, and it's about getting back to your fundamental principles, getting 10 toes up underneath you, getting your hips and shoulders square, elbow in, elbow up, good follow through. You just got to go back to the basic and just kind of retrace it. And so I felt like Trey hadn't done anything not to deserve the start, but I felt like maybe talking with Trey and say, hey, look, we'll bring you off the bench. You sit there and study, the spots that'll be open on the floor. And when you get to them spots, you be ready to shoot. Trey has a green light. And I noticed that he gotten a little tentative. And when you start thinking about it too much, you're not going to make the shots. And so fortunately, he was able to adjust to his role Friday night. Not sure, as you've seen, I've changed my lineups quite a bit.
Sure.
I mean, I'm a starting 5 kind of guy, but with this group, each opponents that we have, we may have to go with some different lineups.
Yeah.
I thought we went with a little bit more length, moving Tyrone up to the shooting guard, putting Derek at the 3, Adrian at the 4. AJ was able to go down there and give us some physicality and some good minutes, quality minutes in the paint. And who knows, after watching film of Anderson a couple more days, we may go with a different lineup Thursday. But at the end of the day, you want to give your kids the best chance to win. That adjustment, they're trusting, and they're trusting the scouting reports. They're trusting how I tell them how to guard different guys, and how to close out, and not to help off as much. Because when you guard a good defensive team like a good offensive juggernaut, a 3-point shooting team like Harrison, you sometimes go against your core defensive principles of help and recover.
Yeah.
Teams like that, teams like Pendleton, they draw and kick, draw and kick, draw and kick. And if you help so much, it's hard to help and recover when you have teams that pass the ball and move the ball as well as those good teams do.
Sure.
And so you have to kind of adjust your skill. I mean, your philosophy on guarding them. You can't overhelp. You kind of jab and fake and fade. You mix up your coverages. Sometimes you help all the way, sometimes you don't. And, it's just going to the next level of understanding how to win ball games. And our guys are doing a really good job of following the game plans and the scouting reports and going out there and executing.
And you can tell. I mean, they've really picked that up. All right, here's what Trey had to say after the game. Again, he had a big game, 11 points in the second half against Harrison, and it really was one of the keys to the Red Devils' win. Well, Trey, talk a little bit about, I know coming in that you've probably, your confidence was a little bit down, the shots weren't falling, but that happens to all shooters. Once you hit that first one, what was going through your mind?
I feel like it's just a relief after I hit that first one, because once I felt it go in, it just changed my whole game and whole demeanor throughout the whole game.
Well, then you didn't stop there. You hit a couple of other threes, and I think you ended up with 11 in the quarter, and I think it was 15 for the ball game, so you kind of felt it the entire second half.
Yeah, I just kind of got back in my zone to where I have been since the Seton game, and I just plan on to continue this from here on out. So hopefully my teammates keep feeding me and I keep contributing to my teammates, not only on the offensive end but on the defensive end as well.
Let me ask you, are you more comfortable, though, coming off the bench and having a chance to see it a little bit more instead of starting, or did it really matter to you?
It honestly don't matter to me, because it's whatever coach feels at that moment in time, and I'll do whatever I have to help my teammates out, so it don't matter.
3 in a row. You guys are starting to kind of feel it now, aren't you?
Yeah, and hopefully we just continue this on to sectionals. Hopefully we go back to Newcastle with a vengeance, and hopefully just do what we do best and keep this winning streak going.
All right, I got to go to defense again, though, because they couldn't find a shot in that fourth, or I should say third quarter. They really struggled. What were you guys doing defensively that confused them, that they just couldn't find the comfortable area they were looking for?
We just simply found the shooters and identified who they are, and Coach walked us through what defense to do and just matched us up accordingly to what personnel was out there on the floor at the time, and we just had to find shooters at all times so they won't get going and make it a long game.
Once again, as Trey talked about right there, I think his confidence will certainly be helped this week when the Red Devils travel to Anderson. Coach, let's talk about that a little bit. You play Thursday, and I asked you last week on Saturday if a short week of preparation will make much difference, and you said probably not, because guys are now kind of into that routine. Mm-hmm. The Christmas break is behind us. You're back into the roll of things, so one day shouldn't make much difference, right?
Right. I mean, we our guys deserve the day off Saturday, and they got the day off Saturday. But we'll get after it hard today. We'll get after it hard tomorrow. Wednesday will be a little lighter, but it won't be your typical day before the game. We're not good enough to just have those walk-through type days before the game. And so last Thursday, we went a little harder than we had been on Thursdays. And I think where we are as a team, we need to be tough every day, practice tough every day. Put as many competitive drills and competitions and things like that in place, and it's starting to carry over to the ball game. Yeah. And so we'll get in here today and get up a lot of shots. We'll start introducing personnel to them in terms of what we're going to have to guard. Are there driver-based, shooting-based teams? We're going to try to put in a game plan to guard their best player, Thomas Wells. He's a good player, very talented kid, and he makes them go. And so we're going to first of all focus on slowing him down a little bit, and then we're going to also focus on those other guys, because we can't let guys that haven't been good become good against us. And so we'll start working on some defensive breakdowns on that, and we'll focus on ourselves a little bit, trying to clean up some stuff in our transition in terms of passing that thing up ahead a little bit better and get some action, a little bit better action out of our trail guy, and we'll just continue to do the things we've been doing over the last month, and it's been helpful. Obviously, we got competitive things we do every day, and I think that's making us compete harder, get a little tougher, and same thing tomorrow. We'll go at it today and tomorrow and Wednesday. All this week we'll still try to shoot. We've been trying to get up more shots in practice, and seem to be helping a few guys. And so, I mean, can't reinvent the wheel right now. Yeah. But I really like the direction our team is headed. I think every day they're starting to believe more and more in themselves of making a good run at the sectional. You know, our NCC tournament is just a little different scenario, if you will. You know, it's basically if we win Thursday, we have to go to McCutcheon, probably.
Yeah.
If we lose, we probably will play at Tech.
Okay.
And so, you know, I'm a winner.
Yeah.
I want to win Thursday.
Yeah.
But I don't want to take that long trek to McCutcheon. But
we can hope McCutcheon gets
yeah.
beat by somebody.
I know. But it's part of it, man. You just got to take it how they come and do the best you can each opportunity you have. And you know, if we have to go to McCutcheon, and first of all, we got to win this game Thursday.
Yeah.
You know, we take one game at a time, and then we'll talk about scenarios.
Now, let me ask you then real quick, if for the fans that may be planning ahead of time, if we're talking about a McCutcheon trip, is that 2 games that day, or you'd have to play 2 at McCutcheon that day?
Yeah,
right?
it'd be a tough day.
Yeah.
It's you know, a 1 o'clock first game and a 7 p.m. second game. And it'd be tough, but it can be done.
Yeah.
And you know, we're not going to let any negative thoughts or soft thoughts come in our minds. We're just going to, you know, take one game at a time, fight out each possession, and hopefully, you know, we'll be in a position to have an opportunity to win a ball game.
Always love going to Lafayette. See, this will be about my 6th time to Lafayette this year. But I thought all the way that the NCC was formulated, the travel would be cut down. Guess what? That hasn't been the case. All right, Anderson Thursday night. And, again, that's a 8 o'clock tip-off time, I believe, for Thursday.
I believe it's 7:30.
Is it 7:30?
Because it's a weeknight.
Okay, well, I'll take that. I love the 7:30 tip-off time. So it means JV will start at 6 o'clock. We'll have the varsity game right here in Radio Troy Digital Sports. Don't forget the girls play on Friday because it'll be Mount Vernon. They're going to win that game over Connorsville on Tuesday nights. We'll have that game. That's a 6 o'clock start time. We'll have that game as well. So, Coach, listen, good luck this week. Stay healthy this week as well. Mm-hmm. And let's go get Anderson. And I guess if we have to go back to McCutcheon, so be it. We'll just take whatever comes.
So be it, man. We got to take it as it comes, man. But, you know, one game at a time. As we talked about the division, you know, we went on a streak. We won 18, 19 in a row in this division.
Yeah. And
so, you know, we're winless in our division right now, and so we can't go out with a goose egg, and you know, it's not acceptable, and you know, we just got to find a way to go up here and get it done Thursday.
All right, Coach, we'll see you next week, okay?
Thank you very much.
This, once again, has been One-on-One with head coach Rick Wedlow. We'll see you next week.